The Earth is in shambles as the Demon Kings have decided to take on the world and end humanity for good. So the king gathers 47 heroes of the Earth to take on the 47 Demon Kings. The king motivates the heroes and the people of his kingdom, and we are introduced to some heroes like Bulls, Alicia, Ficaccio, Liwan, and Abyss. Abyss is considered to be one of the strongest among the lot, and the main character is Hallow, who has a best friend named Elio. Turns out that the Demon Kings have been hunting humans for a long time, and every hero has suffered it, so Elio says that this time they will take out the Demon Kings, but Hallow is scared to death. However, Elio motivates him, saying that they will take down the Demon Kings and congratulate each other after that. The 47 heroes leave for the quest, and after half a year, Hallow and the party reach the castle of the 11th Demon King. They receive a letter from the king updating that almost every hero has fallen, and even Abyss, the strongest, is dead. Pain reveals that he is leaving as he doesn't want to die, and no hero is dumb enough, and Hallow sees that Elio is missing as well. He remembers his friend and gets up to take on the Demon King alone. Everyone is shocked, and the Sword of Courage starts shining brightly. Seeing the courage and determination of Hallow, the rest of the heroes join him as well, but Pain takes his leave. However, he sees that the kingdom is filled with bloodlust monsters, so he returns to the heroes. The party reaches the Demon King's castle, but there's a strange quietness everywhere. When they open the main door, the Demon King Jackie is seen sitting on his throne along with his monster slaves who are just there to see the fight. Regis uses his supreme magic flame and throws it at Jackie, but he just flicks it and bursts open Regis's gut. The other heroes fall as well due to the magic surrounding the Demon King. However, he is impressed that Hallow is still standing near him. Hallow launches on him with his sword, but isn't able to land a hit. Just when he is close to the demon's neck, Jackie grabs the sword and throws Hallow to the ground, ripping off his arm. Jackie mocks him, saying that he is a useless human trash, and offers him his sword to cut his head. Hallow uses all of his strength and strikes at the Demon King, but his sword just breaks into two. Jackie laughs and flicks Hallow, sending him in the river through the wall. Pain follows him, and suddenly Zabi, Hallow's elder brother, appears in front of him. The demons follow Hallow's scent, and Zabi uses his dimension magic to summon heroes from another world. The heroes, dressed in Hallow suits, take down the demon army with their firearms and kill them instantly. Pain is very happy, and Zabi reveals that these heroes are from another world with a strong history, and they think that these heroes will save them, but it turns out that their own world is in shambles, and they are here to get help. The two worlds are now intertwined with each other, and suddenly, a car from the other world heroes appears carrying the injured soldiers. The lady calls for help and introduces herself as Kayla. Zabi is confused and introduces himself and the other heroes. Zabi says that they are the ones who summoned them from the other world for help, and it turns out that both worlds called the heroes at the same time. That's why there are two realities in one timeline. Kayla reveals that their enemies are robots with intelligence greater than humans, and they have conquered 80% of the world. Zabi says that the demons are stronger than some mindless robots, but Kale is concerned that the robots are far more dangerous as they can make their own weapons and themselves. They argue a bit when suddenly the robots arrive. They appear to be very friendly, offering hot meals to the humans, but Kayla explains that this is just bait to lure humans into the open and attack them. The robots sense the heat signals from the bodies and attack them. Kayla and her team open fire at the robots, but is of no use. One of them gets the armor-piercing weapon that explodes the whole area, and Zabi thinks that they won, but the robots are still standing without a single scratch. Just when the robots are about to kill them, Zabi uses his earthquake magic, and Wally uses the ice magic to freeze them in the ground. The soldiers are shocked to see this, and this is more powerful than they had expected. Kayla says that the non-scientific methods of Zabi's civilization can help them, and Zabi thinks the same, so they shake hands to help each other's world, and Hallow just feels proud of his brother who came in the moment of crisis like a hope. Suddenly, Pain senses a huge number of demons approaching them. The robots also get out, and the two civilizations fight their two opposite enemies, but the demon army has Kiva, the leader of Jachi's army. The robots also adapt to the magic powers, and now they're in trouble. Kavi senses that the robots are not a threat, so he leaves them be and kills the soldiers when one of them slams a truck into Kavi, which he flips towards Kayla. Hallows gets pissed and uses his broken sword to cut the truck and launches it on the demon leader, but the energy evaporates as he is still scared of demons. Hallow throws his sword at the robot that senses Kavi as a greater threat, so he attacks him. Kavi gets pissed, and now the demons and the robots start fighting each other. Fern uses this opportunity and summons the teleportation magic to go to the fort, but Kavi grabs Hallow. However, the robot blows Kavi's arm, and the two turn into their final forms to kill each other. Hallow reaches the fort, and Zabi shows him that their world is intertwined with a lot of other worlds. The other worlds are facing the same threat of extinction, and that's why all the refugees from those worlds are now here. But since there are more heroes in the same world, there are also more enemies at the same time. When Zabi used the summoning magic, all the world came at once into the same reality, and most of them were on the brink of extinction due to various enemies. Zabi goes to Kayla and asks if she is ready as they are going outside the fort to rescue the other world's people. Hallow wants to join them as well, but he is severely injured and his one arm was lost in the battle as well. Kayla knows that Hallows has a fighting spirit and he can help them, so Hallows joins the rescue group along with the support fairy Panapane. They go to the quiet forest and look out for the people they have to rescue, but Zabi warns them not to lose their way back. Suddenly, they are attacked by some demonic hedgehogs with giant claws and teeth. The party members run for their lives and they see a gigantic mountain-looking creature. Hallow notices a man-like figure in the distance. The party rushes to the rescue, but it turns out to be a giant monster. The monster is excited to see a new meal and throws a mighty fist at Hallow, but Hallow is able to stop it with his one arm. He casts a fog magic onto the demon's face and it blocks its view. They see 3 people for real and rush towards them, but the monster just blows off the fog screen with his breath. They rescue the 3 people and go to an alley to slow down the monster, but the road in front of them gets blocked by some giant plants. Kale uses her zipper and the part reaches the other side. Panpane thinks that the monster won't reach them, but he just jumps over the trench. Suddenly, the demonic hedgehogs appear from underground and start attacking the giant monster. The party manages to get to the teleportation gate, but the kid sees 3 more people to be rescued. Hallow runs towards them and Zabi follows him. They rescue a bunch of other people and finally get back to the magic fort. Everyone is safe and sound, but there's a new problem and the king has fallen ill. The diseases from the other worlds are now affecting everyone and people are falling like toothpicks. Zabi is concerned, so he calls out all the people from all the worlds to gather intel about their universe and finally join hands to end the enemies once and for all. According to Zabi, there are 13 worlds that are confirmed to coexist with them, and the first one is their own world ruined by demons. They call it the Magic Forces world, and the second world is of Kayla's. It is known as the Machine Rule world, which is captured by Rove, artificially intelligent robots. The third world is the Parasite world, which is engulfed in a parasitic disease that turns humans into zombies. The fourth is the Giants world, which is controlled by huge giants. The fifth world belongs to the unfortunate people who have to face giants as big as mountains called calamities, so their government has already given up. The sixth world is under attack by aliens and they call it the Cosmic Devil world. The seventh world is under the attack of giant plants, while the eighth world is ruined by humans themselves who are more advanced and are terrorizing the old humans. The Mad God world's enemy is a god, while the ninth world is under a curse that destroys every living thing. The third world is composed of nerds that have nothing else to do. The 11th world is under the control of rogue humans like Mad Max, and the last world is getting destroyed by the World Tree, which sucks the life force out of everything. Zabi asks if someone has any suggestions, but there is dead silence. Nobody knows what to do, and suddenly, Hallow remembers that the natural enemies are a match for the natural enemy of another world. So he raises his hand and tells everyone that they should make the enemies fight each other, and it is not a coincidence as they have seen it multiple times. The alien world people call him stupid for having such fantasies and idiotic suggestions, but Zabi remembers the time when the demon leader fought the robot leader and the tiny demonic creatures took out the giant. But everyone thinks that their natural enemy is the strongest. They start arguing with each other, telling everyone that their enemy is superior to any other world's enemy. Zabi hits a plan and starts yelling that the demons are the strongest and no one in this world or another world can defeat the demons. Everyone gets pissed and they start arguing with each other even more. The God World people think that their god is the strongest, the robot ones think that they have the worst enemy, and this leads to a little fight between the groups. Zabi draws their attention and says that this was his plan to spark a fire so they can turn against each other, and since the enemies are not something they can talk with, they will have to gather all the intellect and technology from all 13 worlds for the plan to work. The chances are slim but not zero, so everyone agrees to obey the two brothers. On the other hand, we see that Kavi has defeated the robot. However, his arm is cut off and he wants his revenge on Hallow. Meanwhile, in the fort, Zabi explains to everyone about what actually happened. He reveals that he used summoning magic because their Earth was in grave danger of the Demon Kings, but at the same time, more worlds and different people called for help as well according to their own strategies, and they ended up in a mixed world due to the same timing. That's why their natural enemies came to the same world too. The Mad Gods world person thinks that this is the rage of the gods and they should have never tested the anger of their god. He goes insane and starts shouting while Mayatoshi mocks him for believing in such a thing. Wally uses his magic and brings him back to reality. Everyone starts asking what is the plan and how they are going to make their enemies fight each other. Zabi steps in and says that they should think of something together. This pisses off the giants and Paka grabs Zabi from his collar because he thinks that he is just full of crap. Hallow doesn't like it, so he grabs his arm and asks him to leave his elder brother. Hallow's grip is so strong that Paka can't get his hand out of his grip. Zabi asks Hallow to let him go and Paka lets go of Zabi. Samon intervenes and smacks Paka on the head. She introduces herself and her friend is Brajanti. Just as they were talking, Judah from the Wizard Court arrived and he had a strange old general with him. Zabi welcomes Juga and Kayla notices that the old man is General Garast. His headquarters was attacked by some giant monsters and almost all of his soldiers died. Kale reveals that the general has been the head of the war against the robots, and Zabi offers him to join them as the charge. Grasp wants everyone to agree, and so everyone agrees to make him the leader of the strategy and combat. Grasp tells everyone that he is no longer a general, as there are different worlds here, so they should forget about ranks and status. Kayla agrees, and Garasp asks about what exactly is going on. Garasp understands the situation about the 13 worlds colliding with each other and asks how did all of them travel to the same dimension. Flynn explains that there are teleportation gates all around this world that they use to summon the other world's people, but only the magicians can use these gates. Garasp understands it and confirms that these gates can be used for surprise attacks. He also shows concerns about the natural enemies fighting each other, and Hallow confirms that they have seen the natural enemies fighting each other on equal feet, and this is quite amazing. Although it was a coincidence, they could surely make it work in their own way. Kale also confirms that the demons can easily defeat the robots. So Garasp has high hopes for this plan and says that it might be difficult to change the course of the world, but they will have to make a lot of sacrifices in the way. That's why Masayoshi from the Unfortunate World stands up and introduces himself. Takuya, his companion, doesn't like the yapping, but Mayasoi goes on to ask if it isn't good if they just keep hiding. This plan might work as the enemies haven't attacked them yet, and they can leave peacefully here until the natural enemies eventually come face to face with each other and destroy themselves. Garasp tells him to keep his cheap tricks to himself, but he is right in the sense that poking in a hornet's nest is not good for them. Hallow's blood is raging with blood as he wants to make a change. Suddenly, Takuya asks everyone not to listen to Masayoshi's concerns as he is having a bad time recently. He requests them to discard him, but Garasp agrees with him. Everyone is shocked to hear this, and Garasp is a man of high intellect, so he tells everyone that survival is the most important thing for now. Hence, instead of fighting, they should focus on strengthening themselves and observing the behavior of their enemies. But Zabi also adds that keeping an eye on enemies won't get them anywhere, so he suggests making some preparations in the meantime. Garasp says that there are a lot of injured and disheartened people in the community, so they should focus on the bright things, and he orders everyone to get familiar with each other. Everyone introduces themselves to the people from other worlds. Kayla wonders if this plan is going to go smoothly, but Zabi knows that Garasp is right because one will have to sacrifice their own life in the process like a hero, and they don't have anyone. Hallows is injured and shouldn't be put in danger. Suddenly, Elio, the 19th hero who disappeared while fighting the 19th Demon King, shows up. Hallows is so happy to see him, and everyone is shocked as he was considered to be gone. Elio says that he was able to come back thanks to his luck, and the things around have gone pretty wild, so he will lend his powers. On the other hand, Kiva, the 11th Demon Army leader, is searching for Hallow by sensing the magic in his leg when suddenly he sees a huge mountain of dead demon bodies. He is shocked to see this and wonders if a human can do this, and he sees a giant foot on the ground, which is going towards the human base. It turns out that it was the giants who took down the demon army as they were heading to the fort. In the fort, Kale is training when Elio arrives and gives her a flower. Kale wonders why he gave it to her, and Elio laughs it off, saying that their cultures are completely different from each other, and as he was yapping about this, Kale eats the flower. Elio is surprised to see this, and Kale wonders what's the matter as he gives it to her, because flowers have good nutrients. Suddenly, Hallow arrives and greets Elio, saying that he is the same as before. Hallow is concerned about the plan regarding the natural enemies when Elio intervenes and asks if he fought a demon king, which led him to have his arm ripped off. Hallows is discouraged because he lost to the demon, and even with all of his strength, he wasn't able to flick even a scar on the demon king. Elio is embarrassed and says that the same happened to him when he was fighting the demon king, and even as heroes, they have to make their own choices because they are too weak. Hallow doesn't like it, so he tells Elio to not be discouraged as they are still alive and can still fight. Bast from the Cursed World tells Zabi that the king is not suffering from an illness but a virus that came from that world and was transported to the king due to some magicians traveling the area. Hallows and the party join Zabi, and Elio tells them that to observe enemies from a distance is useless. Everyone is concerned, and she reveals that when she was traveling to the fort, he saw about 50 giants who were 20 meters tall, and they killed the demon army. They are on their way to the human fort, and they will reach here in about 2 days. Simone wakes up Paka, and he is pissed as to why she didn't tell it earlier. Elio says that he wanted everyone to have a good sleep one last time, and nothing would have changed, as they were planning only to observe the enemies. Simone tells them that the giants are simple species, and they leave the dead bodies to mark their area. Their leader is the tribal chief Gimbak, who scatters his groups to get more area under his territory. Paka suggests making a head-on collision, but the chance of them winning the fight is slim. So Garrus tells them that they will use Hallow's plan to make the natural enemies fight each other. A small group of humans will act to surrender to them and lead them to their base, but in reality, they will take them to the superhuman world where humanity has far more dangerous and lethal weapons as of now. The giants have a need of humans to work for them, so they might be able to pull this off, but someone needs to be the risk taker, as the giants might kill everyone in the group. Hallow steps up to the situation and asks to go, but Kayla gut punches him with her devastating remarks. Zabi is sick of this, so he punches Hallow, slamming his brother into the wall. He tells Hallows that if he was as quick and agile as earlier, he would have dodged his punch, so instead of Hallow, Zabi offers to go the giants, as the superhumans have no injuries with beautiful looks. However, Kayla is suspicious of Elio, as he has no injuries on his body from the battle with the Demon King, while Hallow is almost half dead. Hence, she wonders if he is really a hero or someone else.